In this episode, join yours truly for a final attempt at a public land bird in the wonderful Peachy State for the 2026 turkey season. Once again, I challenge myself to never seen before public grounds, setting off into the red clay hills one more time. As you guys know, turkey hunting is a challenge already. I face even more challenging variables, the most important one of all, Mother Nature. She had me beat down for 2/3 of my trip here in Georgia. However, sometimes the best turkey hunts come in the worst weather, cold rain, whipping wind, and long hours that test your grit and patience. But by embracing the miserable conditions and staying focused, I was rewarded with the opportunity every turkey hunter waits for.
Okay, I'm a little disturbed. That has got to be, I'm assuming that's a coyote. All I can say is that is one healthy coyote. Looks like strut marks all through here. That being said, again, I'm assuming that that's a coyote. Pretty much what I'm doing is, this is the road that leads around to the back side of this, which is where I was at this morning and this afternoon. And I was finding a bunch of sign, and I've found some sign over here too. So I'm assuming this is a pretty decent little area for turkeys right now, because there is tracks on this side and tracks on that side. So I've got a decent gut feeling that is, but what I'm finding is different tracks from different birds. So pretty much I'm coming down to where it kind of goes into a little bottom, and there's a river that runs behind this public here, and I'm just following it down. It's actually currently raining, so I'm just purring and clucking a little bit as I'm coming down this road, because there's tracks coming all down this road. And I saw fresh, dog, coyote tracks back that way, like super fresh. And I also found some pretty decent sized fresh turkey tracks. So I don't know if he may have caught up with the turkey, took a shit real quick, and was getting ready to have another meal. But that is a large pile of feces. So another turkey track there. It looks decently fresh. So anyways, most of the filming, at least for right now, is probably still walking down this road. Probably going to be off my phone, because I'm heading right this direction. Like I said, it's currently raining, and I don't care about getting wet, but I do not want to get my camera equipment wet. So there's more coming out of this, going into that. So this is definitely where I'm going to be starting in the morning. I mean, unless I put my eyes on a bird in another area. I mean, this little section right here that kind of comes into a point is just loaded with tracks right now. So
all right, guys, just a little update is from what I was saying earlier, is that it was raining and it just gradually got worse and worse and worse, and I eventually hit a dead end at this road that I was walking around this big pine thicket. Really, the map showed that there was a road, but it turned out it was super overgrown, and I ended up pretty much walking through above my head. briars and everything else. And so the last hour has been quite brutal. But I wanted to come on here real quick and just kind of, I've been seeing several different tom tracks and generally pretty close to one another. And over the last few years, I've begun to hunt turkeys more and more and more, and I'm learning a lot by just failing a lot. I'm just saying this just in case to kind of authenticate, like, if this actually happens. We're right around the second week of May. They're probably flocking back up together, like grouping back up like a group of bachelor bucks, you know, early season or, you know, late season after they get done doing their thing. I haven't seen any birds yet, but I have found a ton of sign, and pretty much on the map, what I'm gonna do is tomorrow morning, I'm just going to put myself right in the middle of all the tracks. Yeah, I just wanted to say that real quick, that I really think that these birds have probably, at least over here, have probably grouped back up. There's a bunch of tall grassy fields around here, so I'm sure I've done walked by a nest egg or two. These toms are just hanging out around, you know, where these hens are, because I know that they pay attention to that. Hopefully tomorrow, if not Thursday, the weather's supposed to be perfect, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to be able to do tomorrow. If it is raining in the morning, I don't know. They may not even get out of the tree for a while, depending on how bad the weather is supposed to be.
For the rest of the day, I sat in this general area for roughly 6 hours, from about noon-ish until right around 7 p.m. From yesterday's scouting, I knew that there were several birds in the area, even though I had not seen any turkeys live on the foot. I called every 20 to 30 minutes and occasionally stood up to call while walking in roughly a 30-foot circle. Reaching different levels of elevation while calling, I was hoping that by doing this, imitating a hen scratching and softly calling, that I would sound more realistic to a tom that might be cruising the area. Although the sign was there, the hens weren't clucking and the gobblers weren't gobbling. So I felt that it was just best to sit and be patient instead of running and gunning. And as luck would have it, I went all 6 hours not hearing or seeing one single turkey.
Probably a little early to be hooting right now, but I'm actually from like noon until I think it's 7 or so now. I've been sitting where I found a bunch of sign yesterday, and I didn't see anything, didn't hear nothing, didn't have nothing walk by. And on my way out, I'm probably like a quarter of a mile from the car, so I'm pretty close to the car, and actually where I parked. I found where I parked turkey tracks. Well, it rained all night last night, and rained for a good bit, even first thing this morning. And so on my way in, those turkey tracks that I've just come across were not there. So those are between noon and now. So I was actually contemplating my game plan for in the morning, but there's turkeys around here. So biggest thing that I think I've got to take away from all this is I just need to stick it out, get on a high point. Like I said, it's a little hilly here, so I just need to get on a high point and just see what I can do. Tomorrow the weather is supposed to be like perfect. So yeah, I'm already at my car, and I just called back there, so I'm not far from the car, which is a good thing. I might not have to walk that far in the morning, but these late season gobblers are kicking my tail.
Okay guys, I want to stop here really quick and explain this next hour of my hunt in sort of a nutshell, because there's really no easy way to put my last day of turkey hunting here in Georgia. I did have a tom come in. The plan all came together, but essentially I screwed it up. I missed a tom at probably like 7 yards. I didn't miss him that far, but I ended up shooting at him at probably around 30, which is still no excuse. Granted, he was running probably 100 miles an hour. No, he was booking it out of there. But I do want to kind of take what I did on this last day, meaning like where I set up, why, and what happened with that experience, and why I think that everything did come together, and then just where I screwed it up, and maybe you guys can take something positive from that, learning from the mistake that I made. Here I am, I'm on Spartan Forge, and I'm gonna zoom out a little bit, and essentially this is roughly where I parked, because on this side of the road there is private. It's a little bit of public, but then it's private. You can see the orange line right there. But I found tracks there that day. I found tracks here, 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 over here. You can see everywhere that I was finding sign, because like I said earlier in the video, I had spent majority of my really day and a half just walking around, and there is a creek that runs all the way through here, and then it leads to this road with some pockets, and you can see there's some, you know, a little bit of some terrain going on here, different elevations and whatnot. And I did find a bunch of sign here. Right about in here is where I found the coyote poop, but that's neither here nor there. I sat right here on day 2. Like I said, it rained that morning, and then the rest of the day was pretty good. I sat right about in here somewhere, because this all came down and all met at pretty much at a point, and there's a road that comes right along through here. And with finding all of these sign, and there's a road that comes through here too, I just have the topo up so that way you guys can see the the elevation and why I decided to sit where I sat on this last day. So when I sat here on day 2, sat there for, like I said, roughly 6 hours, didn't see anything. And then on my way out, I found this, I think it was these set of turkey tracks. Yeah, right in here on my way out for that evening. And they were obviously fresh because it had just rained. So they came from this private right here and came right into public. And there's a gate like right in here and a road. That's what all this other sign is from. It's pretty much on a road. I walked in, was walking up this road right here, and then I started cutting in through the woods a little bit, kind of following this hillside here. I didn't get in there before daylight because I did try to roost the night prior and I didn't have any luck, so I just kind of wanted to, I didn't want to really be set up somewhere and just there'd be a gobble way off in the distance, and then I'd have to pack up because I'm carrying my gun, I'm carrying camera equipment, I had the decoy. I was hoping that I could just hear one gobble that morning and, you know, possibly make a quick move. I was planning to be super aggressive this last day. Here you can see the elevation is 160 and 160. And although it looks sort of like a funnel here, this is actually more of the top of this hill right in this area. And so, and then right there I believe was 150 and 140. And so when I cut through the road coming through here and I went up kind of following this elevation line there, I actually ended up coming across what I believe was these tom tracks here. Could be a different bird, which is still an advantage for me if it was a different bird, but regardless, as I found tom tracks right in here that morning, walking in. So didn't hear any gobbles, didn't hear anything, and it was, I mean, it was gray light, you know, it was still very, very early as I was walking in, but by the time I got set up, it was broad daylight, blue skies and everything. And so, but I was moving with the shadows of the trees. I was being very precautious, moving in, and I was even kind of calling my way in. So I got roughly in here, so that way all the calling that I could do would travel down here, and down this way as well. Pretty much in all directions. All the rest of the elevation around me was lower than where I was sitting. So I was just hoping that, you know, if I'd called and they're surrounding the area, walking, doing their thing, they could hear me. I was just doing some soft clucks, some purring, and that's really about it. So I sat down right in here somewhere, and what I did when I sat so pretty much in the middle of this hill is whenever I stood up, it was very vast. You can see a pretty good ways, but all of the vegetation and the foliage was, when you got down to the turkeys level, you couldn't really see anything. You know, there was pockets all over the place that you could see 30, 40, 50 yards, but essentially he was gonna have to come in looking for me. So I set up to where these tracks were about 20-ish yards, and I had my hen decoys set up right in here somewhere. And I sat up right there, and what I did before I sat down was I actually called all the way around this, kind of the end of this hill right here. I started calling right here and called all the way around, like off and on, and I was kicking up the ground to imitate the sound of scratching as I was calling. And that was roughly around like 7:30, 7:45. Right at 9 o'clock, I believe, is when this tom, I don't really know where he came from, because again, There's tracks all around me that I've found, and I can't see but 30 to 40 yards. So I've always heard the wise tale that you need to listen to the woods when you're hunting. That the woods and other animals will give you a tale that either a big buck's coming in the area, or there's turkeys around, or whatever. And I never really understood that until this year. It just kind of finally clicked for me like a light bulb.
Well, guys, I don't have any video of it, but I just freaking blew it. Oh my God. I literally, there were some crows just going crazy. And I thought, and it's like, it's kind of vast in here, but it's also very dense. And well, I say that because when you stand up, it makes the matter of the world a difference of what we can see versus what they can see on the ground, like at their eye level. The turkey was literally like 5 yards. I just got done calling. I was using my slate. I purred and I think I hit like 2-3 note yelps. And you can believe me, you can not believe me. I don't care. But last night, I found tracks on the road as I was on the way out. Oh my God, it happened so fast. I think I can see the tree that I hit too. Oh my God. And there's the wad. Right there. It's not even 9 o'clock. I found the tracks on the way in here this morning. I came up, there's a gate in a road that was near where I found the tracks, the tom tracks yesterday, and was 100% fresh after I had to walk through yesterday because it just rained that morning. So I know for a fact I didn't see him. So between like 12 and 7, that tom had made its way and actually came into the block of woods that I was in. So I got in here this morning and it was daylight, and I actually found the tom tracks like way off the road. It was either the same ones or a different tom, but it was coming in this direction. I'm at the highest point of elevation. Now, when I'm sitting down, I can hardly see in front of me anywhere. Like I can see bits and pieces 30-40 yards. But the sun's coming in behind me. There's a lot of shadows. I literally was just looking right there. And it hit some 3-note yelps 2 or 3 times. I purred. The crows were going crazy. I'm like, man, something over there. And like I said, I don't care if you guys don't believe me or not, but you can't tell by the look on my face. I am sick to my stomach. I got here Monday. No, what's today? I got here Tuesday morning at like 3 a.m. Slept in the car, got rained on, soaked. Yesterday, hunted almost all day long. As long as weather nature really allowed. And I got in here early I didn't get in here before daylight because I hooted last night. I didn't hear anything, which I know that doesn't mean anything, but I put the call down after I got done doing that. I was gonna grab my mouth call and cluck and bubble cluck a little bit, that little whine that the hen does. put that call down, and that's all I was gonna do was that's all I was gonna do. And I was looking down to, you know, kind of, I got my vest here unstrapped, so I'm not so like bulked up. Oh my God, what? I mean, came in freaking silent. Well, plan worked. I don't know where he came from. As soon as I put this call down, I heard like he freaked out, and I heard him rustling trying to find his tracks. Yep, here it is right here. Bushes. And he was literally right in front of me, and I guess he couldn't see me. I don't know. I'll zoom in, but here's where my wad hit pretty much, and he was running away at this angle right here. Oh my God. There's his tracks. I guarantee you what he did is he probably was coming from down here, or he might have been coming from behind me. But if he was coming from behind me, then he just looped right around this, pretty much this finger right here, this high point. Let's see. I shot at him probably from right here. It's 40 yards, so I would say with at least half of my load hitting that tree. There's this track right here. And he was running. I shot at him like right in here at about 40. Now I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. They've been moving here, man. They've been moving. Never been here before. They've been moving. Well, there's a ton over here. I think what I'm gonna try to do is he went down in that direction. I think it might, there's a road behind me. I think what I might do is just get back out on this main road and try to maybe possibly loop around in the direction that he went. I've found a ton of tom tracks. So there's another one. He came in silent.